Welcome back. Thank you so much for taking some time out of your day to spend with me. I hope that you are all doing well and taking care of yourselves. Today, I want to talk to you about how the super empath handles the Valentine's Day Hoover. Listen, we have to expect it. We have to know that it's coming. We already know who we are dealing with when we are dealing with narcissists. They are creatures of habit. They do the same thing over and over again. And another thing about narcissists is they love to ruin holidays. We just had Thanksgiving, we had Christmas, and we had the New Year's holiday. I know many of you experienced some type of Hoover from the narcissist. And those of you who are still tied to them in one way or the other were disappointed by them in some capacity. In a prior video, in one of my holiday videos, it was the one on Christmas, I shared how my children's father ruined their Christmas as well as their birthdays, because their birthdays and Christmas are right by the same, they're kind of close together. But this is kind of what these creatures do. They actually get a sense of pleasure in ruining special days for people. But not only that, when it comes to Valentine's Day, it's the National Day of Love. I know other channels have called it National Triangulation Day, and I like that. I think it's the truth. This is the day narcissists love to set one partner up against another. After all, we're coming off cuffing season. We're going into the championships now. And so this is what Valentine's Day to the narcissist is. It's time for the Golden Globe Awards. It's the Oscars. It's the Grammys. Whatever you want to call it, it's showtime. I want to tell you a little story about one thing that I experienced, or one of my experiences around Valentine's Day. So I had ended my relationship with this creature in November. And this was a few years ago. So now that particular November, I didn't know much about narcissism, but I began to learn everything that I could, because in order for me to heal, I knew it needed to make sense so that I would know what exactly it is that I was fighting against. So once I understood it, I knew how to fight it. But you hear all the information that the channels tell you, and I still was like, wow, is this who he really is? And I was still trying to get a hold on the fact that everything was a lie. I really needed it to make sense. But I wasn't really anticipating a Valentine's Day Hoover, because I thought, well, he hasn't hoovered me since November. Why would he do it now? But sure enough, he found a real creative way to hoover me. Because I did go no contact initially. And I've told you before that I did break my no contact. And this is kind of the story how I was curious. I needed to know, was this really a narc or what? What was I really dealing with? And so it was the day before Valentine's, and he said, listen, I really need to see you. He set up some fake emergency. So this is one thing that they do. They create or they manufacture an emergency. And so I responded to it, but I knew to go in with caution, because I had a few months of learning. And I also knew, simply because of the way he disrespected me, that there was no going back. But I was curious, and my curiosity was getting the better of me. So I went ahead and I met him. And, I wouldn't advise anybody to do this, because you really can get sucked into it. It kind of did feel, it did feel good. And I'm being honest with you. It felt good to sit and talk with him. But at the same time, I had a fresh perspective, because the whole time he was talking, I was listening. And all the videos over time that I had been watching, every channel, every post that I had seen, I just was able to sit back and look at everything I missed the first time. The love bombing. He was laying it thick this time. And it was also the day before Valentine. So it really wasn't Valentine's Day. And he was making all types of grand plans. He was making grand plans for the next day. And I was like, okay. But I had heard video after video, so I kind of knew not to expect much. And, the night ended uneventfully. I was only with him for 30 minutes, though. And, one of the parting words were, One of his parting words were, "It feels so good to be with my best friend again." And that really stuck out to me because we really did have a close connection. I really did feel like this was my best friend. However, lies. They just lie, lie, lie. And I went home that night and I made sure that I blocked him on those numbers, on the number that he was able to reach me on. And I never looked back beyond that. He lied to me. He sat in front of me and lied about what he was doing, where he was going, he just lied. It was so obvious. And the scale of the lies was just ridiculous. So I just, was able to see, okay, for real, everybody, every video that I watched, every post that I've seen, interacting in comments, reading comments, they're telling the truth. And that for me was the final straw that said, I'm doing the right thing, moving on. And it kind of freed me to really just move on with my life. But I wanted to share that story to hopefully to inspire you to know that you really are on the right track. And you don't have to be like me to go and seek evidence, because at the end of the day, your intuition does not require evidence. If it's a narcissist, it's a narcissist. If it's a psychopath, it's a psychopath. If it's a sociopath, it's a sociopath. They are going to remain true to form. They are going to use this day to bring painful devaluations. They are going to idealize what you used to have. Just like that creature told me, it feels good to spend time with my best friend. That's what we had. The whole relationship until the last moment. It just felt like a really good friendship. But it was just a really good lie. I was just really blind, and don't let that happen to you, because what he did was set up a bar, he set an expectation for me to look forward to the next day, which I knew he was not going to come through with. I went in knowing that nothing was going to come through, because they spend time with who they want on the 14th, not on the 13th, not on the 15th, but on the 14th. And so I already knew that these people are cheaters, pathological cheaters. They have partners everywhere, and he had been exposed for that. And so I think one of the most important things is that you remember what you know. Don't allow your emotions, don't allow what you miss to cloud your better thinking. Remember that when these people attack you, they go for your soul. In the first place, or the first point of access to your soul, is your mind. And so you've got to fortify your mind and be sure that you know what you know, and do not doubt that you have a sound mind. The mind of Christ is upon you. And so all of those lies, we reject them now. You've got to also remember that narcissists come with confusion. Confusion is not of God. God brings clarity to the table. And so, go forward with those thoughts. Allow yourself to think on those things. And, sometimes they'll even buy you gifts. But when they come forward with gifts, and they can come up with very lavish gifts, very expensive gifts, they never give just to give. A narcissist never does that. There's always a price tag. And that price tag, what you will end up paying, will be far more than anything or any dollar amount on that gift. So you've got to fortify your mind. Don't be clouded. Don't believe the lies. And know that this is who they are. These gifts, they're just shallow expressions. They're just to bring you back in. Stay away from their social media, because they're going to be trying to pull you to their social media so that they can post up pictures with other people to hurt you. And sometimes we ourselves fall into a state of reflecting on what was. What was a lie. And this is why your mind is so important. Whatever you dwell on, whatever you focus on, don't let it be this. Start now cultivating a plan for you to do something that is great for you on Valentine's Day, so that you don't have to think about this person, so that your mind is not on them. Your mind is not tempted to go and to see what they're doing, to go check out their social medias, or even to respond to any of their messages if you haven't already blocked them, or if you can't for, whatever reasons, co-parenting or counter-parenting. But start doing something, or start setting something up now that gives you something to look forward to. Because honestly, it's a process and it's a journey. We're not going to just get there overnight, So for some people, you're still at the beginning of this awareness of what has happened to you. So extend some grace to yourself, but also in the journey, treat yourself. Plan something nice. Plan something enjoyable for yourself for Valentine's Day, so that it's not consumed with thoughts of the narcissist. So I hope that this is helpful to somebody. Until the next video, take care of yourself and take care of each other.